to train their workforce, they are importing human resource from other countries, like say for example from Pakistan, from United States, from India, and all over the world. The cybersecurity experts are coming in, training the people, doing the jobs, and all that. So this has become Saudi as a hub of cybersecurity. So why I'm talking about Saudi is it's a perfect model for African region to adopt, right? I was looking at the growth areas in African region, and the top one of the top most growth areas is telecom. So telecom sector has is telecom sector is exponentially growing in the African region, like the voice services, the data services. I think the way the explosively it's growing, telecom sector is growing in the Africa. I think there would be a huge teledensity in the near future in the African region. The second area is the banking. With the banking, new banking solutions like digital payments and all that. This is and also a very fastest growing area in the region. Thirdly is the oil and gas sector. We have seen a lot of oil and gas companies movement in the African region. And when we talk about oil and gas, we are actually talking about the critical infrastructure, because the oil rigs and all offshore and onshore infrastructure, they all have some systems that actually control the overall supply and extraction from the oil wells and all that. So since these are capital intensive projects, a lot of movement we have seen in the African region around this. And then the e-commerce and retail tech. So e-commerce is one of the fastest growing businesses in the African region. So if we see a bottom line of that, so all of these, majority of these businesses are tech-driven businesses. Why? That is to say, the technology is the backbone of these businesses, right? Looking at the cybersecurity industry, it is a complementary industry to all of the industries that utilize technology, right? So wherever you have technology, you have computers and networks laying there, you need cybersecurity, right? So it means that we need to see that what type of businesses are growing. So we have seen that businesses that have grown and that have been growing in African region, they are natively technology driven. So it means that they need security. So this is a simple business case, right? And the other thing that actually complements the business case of cybersecurity in the African region is the type of threats. Just like other countries, just like Europe is facing threats, Gulf is facing threats, China, United States, Russia, and the Asian region. The threat nature is same to the African region, right? So there are state-sponsored hacker groups that are called advanced persistent threats that have a lot of resources that are typically aimed to compromise the governmental infrastructure, the critical infrastructure, telecom, and all that, right? It's just a matter like which region or which country or which companies have made significant or proportionate investments in cybersecurity. They are relatively secure, but this is the case we need to see in the African region. Like, what is the business of cybersecurity in there? Are the cybersecurity companies pitching their services to these sectors which are fastest growing? Or if we take a step back and just we need to think whether African region is producing the workforce, the native workforce, the native cybersecurity workforce. It means that whether the African region has the cybersecurity skill set that is driven by its own people, or they are just looking at the other regions for this expertise. So this is another business case we need to look at. Obviously, when we create a business case, we run different hypotheses, and this is what I'm running on right now. So just to say, we have tech-driven businesses, and then we have security problems in there, cybersecurity problems, which all of the countries face, and Africa is no exception to that. And then there is another class that we have seen in the recent past. So these are the groups of cyber criminals that are making money out of scamming and money laundering, right? If the security controls and security measures are less in a certain region, so you will see a lot of influx of these crimes on those regions. For example, I would hate to say, but it's a reality that Africa, the cyber criminals, it is believed that cyber criminals can operate safely in African region because say for example Nigerian scam and other scams, the phishing emails. Typically, when we trace back, the origin seems to be in Africa, right? It means that it has two meanings, right? One is there are probably weakened regulations that can curtail the cyber crimes in Africa. Second thing is the talent. So I think, okay, so I have certain capabilities. I can use that in the positive way. I can sell it to the business, or I can go into the wrong direction. So it means that we got some serious talent in there. It's just a matter that how we are utilizing that, right? If we are not, so if someone is a very good gun shooter, so either he will go into the army or law enforcement, and if there is no opportunity, so he can go to the other side as well, right? So so I think these different factors make a perfect business case of looking into the cybersecurity business in Africa. Third thing is, since we are looking at the GDP and economy of different African countries, probably is because cybersecurity is still considered as an expensive services sector. Every business cannot purchase the cybersecurity premium cybersecurity services or the products. But now there is an emergence of different businesses, cybersecurity businesses and companies that pitch their services to these SMEs, smaller and medium enterprises, right? So in my thought, Africa is going to be a perfect region for those companies which offer the budget cybersecurity services, security services to SMEs, not on the larger scale budget, but on the medium scale budget. So, like affordable cybersecurity services. So, these companies are typically consist of 10 to 15 people. They work very efficiently, they charge low, but they provide good services, right? So, there are a lot of mushroom companies growth in this sector as well. So, I think these companies need to look into the African region as well. But the problem here is since I've been into the marketing and R&D of security as well, we don't have any visibility in the Africa, right? When we try to search about Africa, about cybersecurity and all that, we don't know where the Africa is standing, right? So I myself has planned a trip to Morocco, which obviously it's not a typical African region, but I need to test what's going on in there, right? So we need to collectively, I'm just thinking from the African standpoint, so we need to create visibility of these opportunities on the internet. Whenever we search, we need to at least know that where the opportunity is, right? So just to conclude and sum up, I'm not a big fan of using so much technical jargons, but if I would conclude, so what I would look at as the opportunities in the Africa, one is the human resource training, right? Number one, cybersecurity industry is facing a huge shortage in human resource worldwide, right? Just talking about United States cannot produce enough cybersecurity professionals that can cover their demand in the United States job industry, right? Just altogether alone. And we have here sitting a lot of huge population in the Africa, talented guys, hardworking guys, just roaming around. Probably this one of the best opportunity is to train these guys into cybersecurity and just export them into some job industry. That will actually create a lot of revenue for the region, and and create the other business opportunities. So this is one thing. So we need to look at it. The other thing is the cost effective services. The companies that are claiming to provide cost effective services in the field of cybersecurity, I think they need to look at the African region. And only this would be done. This could be done only when we include the native African workforce into the cybersecurity. Because if I'm going to establish a company in Africa and I'm bringing resources from Pakistan or even from United States or from Gulf, this is no cost effective equation, right? So I have to have an affordable workforce which should be native, which should be aware of native conventions, so that I can gel in the African region and work with the locals and all that, right? So these are two three glaring opportunities. And the worthy Professor Ahmed has talked about the artificial intelligence. So I would say I think the hackers are the prime utilizers of these artificial intelligence technologies. So what they have done, I think, business are doing well in the AI field. There are we have a different point of looking into the artificial intelligence application into the business, but hackers have successfully implemented artificial intelligence in their operations. So they have automated all the initial attacks, all the network enumeration, all the scanning. They have all that automated through the artificial intelligence. They are capable of identifying then we can just look at the market, how it makes its way and connects the world. So this is from my side. Any comments, any questions? So I would be happy to answer that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Star. Thank you so much. This was so profound. I've learned a lot from this. So we have some questions from our audience streaming online. So, and the first question is, what are some cost-effective cybersecurity measures that SMEs can implement to strengthen their security posture without breaking the bank?
Okay. So, people think about cybersecurity controls as we need to buy some expensive software, expensive tools, and implement those in their systems and controls and their networks. This is one part of securing the overall organization. But in my belief, the start should be from the governance side, right? How we actually perform the business. Say, for example, I have a face. For example, I'm using a Microsoft Outlook account. Just I'm giving the example, and create a user for my company, and eventually I create 100 users, and I now know that I am providing email IDs of these my own corporate to 100, right? But I need to have a process in there where I can actually check whether these 100 IDs are legitimate, what type of communication they are allowed to send outside of the business. I'm just trying to say that the one of the most cost effective measure is to look at the business processes, and this does not involve any technology. This just involves the business process engineering. We just need to see the process, how we are doing the business. We fix all the loopholes that create the cybersecurity threats, and this could be the starting point. This is the lead, and the service cost of doing this is a very cheap cost. In cybersecurity tools and all that. Once you are done with streamlining your business processes related to cybersecurity, then you can move on and start purchasing different tools that are relevant and that can be in this organizational budget. I hope it answers the question.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, sir. And the next question is, how can SMEs, how can SMEs balance Provide safer access frame training for worker in the field, mainly the conflict zone. So I want to welcome Miss Dr. Abdul Badir El Dada, and he'll be talking about trade and security. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, and I'm happy to be among all you and all these distinguished presenters. Thank you very much. Frankly, when we're speaking about the trade and when we're speaking about the security, I think I will be based on what Mr. Talal has been mentioned and reflection of of Dr. Ahmed also about it. Especially after COVID-19, when we are speaking about the trade, I think many of our listeners has been joining the market, the international market from Africa, due to the work of the online and what has been frankly facilitated among all these platforms and the technology that opened this window for the available there especially when we are speaking about the talents, as Mr. Talal was saying. Already we have several discussion and works with some of the governments how we can develop these tech parks for the students and for those who are interested to join this. Especially how we can reflect it and how we can join it with our works in trading, because when we go for trade, we go for, as we mentioned, the global market now. And what has been done in Africa in the last generation by developing skills on the technical skills and vocational skills, now it's the time to promote and to market these products and these services. So the market for this, or the tool and the path for the globe, is through this technology. But also, when we start moving too much in the technology, we start to face a lot of attacks, a lot of the threatened through the people who are smuggling and who are making their fake accounts and all this relevant thing. And as Dr. Ahmed was speaking about the artificial intelligence and how it has been move forward, and what talents could be reflect in the technology we have it, because we see the technology as one of the trade which is now African is joining the market, the global market on it. And the other sides, we see the security threat for this. When we move forward, we see how we are going to face a lot of things which has been moving from Africa to attack the region. As we are seeing people from Maldives, from Nigeria, from other countries having this threat for the people through the emails or through even the missed calls that has been reached out to them. This is what put us on a certain challenge with the people in the market. Like everybody is afraid when they found some missed call numbers from the Africa. So what we are planning to do, and this is one of the discussion we have raised it with the African Trade Exhibition, how we can create a trusted and secure trade channels, and the platforms to put all those people together and to be able to market their works, to market their activities, and to secure their structures and their backbone throughout a very close and very strong security backdoors to us to be able to move forward in the trade and to be able to open the trades, especially when we are looking to have the exchange of money and putting the payment bandwidth on the payment gateway within the sites and within the electronic payments on the area. So the discussion was lately, I think, also with one of the policymakers, is when we are moving forward on the trade, when we are pushing more to put the traders on board on us, we need to take in considerations how we are going to secure their market. And this is one of the discussion has been raised about the policies and about the procedures that need to be done and to be taken in consideration within the legislations of the country. The other side, when we are speaking about trade, we are speaking about the infrastructures of the country itself. What infrastructures do they have to be able to have a good digital tradings? Because now the market is Africa is one of the main players in the raw materials in a lot of the digitalizations sources for that. How we are going to benefit from this? How we are going to develop their skills, and how we are going to be able to develop the centers and the space for such talent people to be able to produce a qualified or standardized quality and procedure and products to be able to challenge in the global market. As Mr. Said was speaking now about the ISO, yes, we need to put this in implementation because it has been also there with the hands. But how we are going to emphasize on the people that they are in need actually to be able to apply these procedures in their activity and to apply these procedures in their trades to be able to compete in the market. Uh, for from our sides, when we are discussing with the African trade people about the global platforms and having at least one of the pioneer platforms to present the African traders in general. We're speaking about the small and medium enterprises people. We need to have a globe window for them and such of one-stop procedures to be able to reach out to those people, but also to ensure that those people are not fake. They have been identified, they have been approved, and they have been qualified through their networks and their associations that we are building our networks with them. For the SMEs, for example, in Nigeria, for last time we have some people from South Africa. So this is how we are putting the roadmap to be able to unlocking the African trade, as we are seeing in our platforms and webinars. And this is our recommendations for them, and this is our recommendation for the policymakers in the continent. Like we need to have proper implementation procedures to ensure that everybody is following the procedures to be able to compete in the globe level. We need to ensure the proper infrastructures is available. And since we are speaking about security, we need to ensure that this is a highly secure channels to be able to improve the trades among our continent and across the people, and how we are going to integrate the rapid growing on the technology sector, especially the AI. And hopefully like such webinars, I think, and hearing such really like interested professors and people in the business sector, they will give us bright lights at the end of the tunnel, that there is the potential to be able to build these infrastructures and to have these collaborations from outside and to have their skills and know-how to be able to apply it on the continent and to move forward on the trade in general. Uh, thank you for having us on board, and I'm ready for your questions and thoughts.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Abdul. So we have some questions here for you. And the first question is, can you provide examples of some successful strategies that SMEs have used to navigate complex trade environments and maintain security?
Yeah, for sure. Like, let's take an example within the continent, and let's say the Uganda and the tourism sectors. They managed to have proper infrastructures in that, and they are putting the all the tourist people and the tourist agents, let's say, on the track to be able to move forward and to secure the interactions between them and the visitors or the tourists who are planning to come to visit the sites. So you can see what happened, for example, on Morocco and the technology and the AI sector, which has been improved very well. You can see what happened on Senegal now, for example, and bringing the global. Companies like Google's and other these names who are planning to have their kind of headquarters there and start, I think as Talal was speaking, start to have to identify and to really headhunt the talent people within the country. And you can see, for example, what's happening on Egypt in the technology side and the AI sector, especially. Like we are working with, for example, Ministry of Youth, who are focusing a lot on the youth. And every 6 7 months, you will find there is a big exhibition and conference for artificial intelligence in collaboration with other countries. So you can see the success story, which is start to implement it on the ground and focusing on the youth, because this kind of technology you need to have different mindset for that. And the people now, and especially the youth, when you are speaking about them, you can see how much they are passionate to work and to move forward and to to be able to compete with the others around them. And lately there was this discussion in Chad also, how they are going to start putting the AI and putting the technology to be able to work on the agriculture and moving forward in the agriculture sectors, especially when speaking about the green belt, where the desert countries, the coast countries, they are working on it to have it across the desert in Africa. And moving forward in this green belt, they are using a lot the artificial intelligence to be able to apply it. Plus, if you see South Africa, Tanzania, and you see how much they are moving forward on the technology and the trading, and they are depending on having big companies and big industry. Definitely, they are looking to have their infrastructures. Tanzania 2019, they are working to have big data center to be able uh, to have data driven and data analysis information to be able to attract the investment. If you don't have this secure information, and if you are not able to provide this proper data, you will not be able to have proper analytic, and this is where you are going to build your decision. So yes, we are building our trading strategy, but this strategy needs to be built on the data. And if you are not able to have proper data and to secure this data, we are not going to have proper goals or to set proper goals for us in the future.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdul. All right, so we have another question for you. And it says, what role do government policies and initiatives play in supporting SMEs' efforts to engage in international trade while addressing security concerns?
This kind of depend this mainly will depends on the visionary of the country itself. Like if you are planning to have certain kind of relations with the others, there is a certain amount or there's a certain level of confidentiality, but also there is a certain level of information needs to be shared with others. So opening the window to the others, I mean the window of the data and the information which is available for the investors. If you are speaking about attracting business and the investor from outside, the people in the business, it's like ABC as we mentioned. You need to have the proper data from the ground to be able to develop your projects and to ensure how you are going to move forward on your businesses. So the government itself, they are the key persons or they are the key players by attracting those people, because they are the people who will allow how much window they want to open to have proper information to be shared with the others, or they want to keep it closed. Based on that, it will help the investors and the foreigners to join the country or to be away from these countries. So they are the people who will decide if they want to have the foreigners. And it's very easy. You cannot focus and you cannot push the investors of your country, and on the other side you are not able to provide them with any documentations or at least with any data. But having these data, meaning that we need to have proper information to be inserted for this data center or for this like you need to feed these data centers to be able to have proper analytic and to show the others what you are going to do. The second thing, as a country, definitely you need to work and to set a proper strategy and let's say categorizing of kind of projects for you in the future for small, short, like short, long strategy projects. And this is projects needs to have their continuity in providing the or feeding the information and the process to be able to have a proper impact on your economy in the future. And this is what we are looking to have it in our trade activity.
Thank you so much, sir.
And
So we have one more question for you. Uh, so it says, looking ahead, what trends or developments do you anticipate will have the greatest impact on trade and security for SMEs in the coming years?
there is a lot of potential in this sector, especially we know that in the economy, not even the small and market, even the micro businesses people, the micro enterprises are the main driven for the economy in every country. And when you are working with those people, you need to, as a government, you need to have the basic infrastructures for them to give them the possibility and a little of the freedoms to be able to move in their businesses and to have kind of the creativity on their works. So Africa with the potential of the skills and vocational skills and the raw material and what we can say the primary products available within and the resources available within the countries within the continent in general, there is a lot of potentials to grow in the future. And in the other side, when we are speaking about the trading now, we are also looking to have a major component of this trading is the location, and Africa is in the heart of the continent. So you can be the connectors between most of the continents in a very shortcuts way. And this is one of the second part of the element which is play a main role in your major elements of which is the price, because the transportation play a major component of your or segment in your products. So if you are able to provide these products with the skills, with the competing, and reduce the transportation and the chain of the products, definitely you will have the potential to invade the market. And in the other side you have the all main resources, it's around you. And when we are speaking about main resources, we are speaking about the food and the major elements behind the food. In the other side you have some other main resources which is available for the technology nowadays, which you have it for example in Uganda, sorry, in Congo. So the cobalt, for example, you have the main component of the silicar, for example, between Egypt, between Libya. So you have fish across the continent. So you have the main resources for and the raw material for any product and for any business which could be developed. What we are looking to have it in Africa is you are looking to have applying the technology in a proper way, applying these procedures in according to the standardizations, the global standardizations, and the proper competing to be able to move forward. Plus, uh, again to the previous question, to have the proper infrastructures to be able to move forward, especially the investors when they are going to mobilize their capitals in and out of these countries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdul. Thank you so
Uh,
much. So
Thank
I'd
you.
like to
Thank you.
introduce our next speaker. So our next speaker is Mr. Kingsley Amadi, and he'll be talking about SMEs cloud computing benefits. Mr. Kingsley Amadi is an ethical serial entrepreneur and CEO active in these sectors: information communication technology, various definido solutions, and agricultural business and export of agro commodities with Casa Yield Limited. He is an adept Pan-African fostering African self-sufficiency as the Director General of the African Trade Exhibition. Mr. Kingsley is also the National Secretary General for the National Association of Charcoal Producers, Dealers, Exporters, and Afforestation of Nigeria, NACDIN, and the Non-Executive Media Director of the Youth and Women Farmers Association of Nigeria, YOW FAN. He is a member of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, Lagos, Nigeria. He is also the past financial secretary of the LCCI Cooperative Society. You can count on his integrity, sincerity, and professionalism in business dealings. Through his years of experience and invaluable input, he has been able to rise to the top of community advocacy while also advocating for all inclusiveness for the less privileged and disabled through a just transition and a go-to provider for business and individuals alike. Mr. Kingsley Amadi is a United Nations International Labour Organization's ILO social partner representing 16 million stakeholders in Nigeria. So, without wasting much time, I would like to invite Mr. Kingsley Amadi to speak to us.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and then good afternoon, Anita. Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, Dr. Abdul, and the rest of the participants.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I want to start on the note of introducing the topic of this afternoon, which I'll be covering. I'll be covering the topic of cloud computing and its benefit for SMEs. Now, every information that the past speakers has dished out, like from Professor to Sayed and then to Dr. Abdul, every information they have passed out pertaining SME business and technology or AI or metaverse, all these have to do with business digitization. And then the only way you can achieve a result in business digitization, like Dr. Abdul just recently said, is by building up your data. And then this topic I'm going to speaking about, which is cloud computing benefit for SMEs, simply focusing on how you can transcend your business. In fact, the benefits are so much that you can transcend your business from the local way of doing things, from the manual way of doing things to digitizing your business. And how can you achieve this? So there's a fact that the benefits are so enormous and so numerous that it makes it almost impossible not to consider moving your business operations to a cloud-based platform, especially for SMEs. And yet, many organizations and SMEs rely on outdated and inefficient processes because they don't understand the benefit of cloud computing. So, I will I will give some breakdown on the top benefit of cloud computing for SMEs and organizations considering adopting a cloud system, which is the best advice that any SME can receive in this 21st in this digital era. So I'll just be looking at a few points, which are one of the key points I'll be looking at is easy accessibility, and then to enable you to access, your information with any device. Number two, I'll be looking at is centralized data security. I'm going to just speak a little about this outline topic. And then number three is higher performance and availability, and then number four is quick application deployment, and then instant business insights, and then business continuity and price performance and cost savings, for SME, and then visualize computing for you to be able to visualize your information or your data, and then cloud computing. I will end it up by elaborating more, but I just it is obvious that cloud computing is greener and the best way to go for any SME. So, in order not to be able to catch up with the little time I have to speak to you, so one of the key points I mentioned earlier is accessibility. Being able to access your data with any device and from anywhere. It is easy for SMEs to have different branches or establish different branches, such as having a company or a branch in Nigeria, in Abuja or in Lagos, Nigeria, and also having in Cairo, Egypt, and possibly also having um, maybe in Douala, in maybe also having in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana. But these multiple branches are going to be so difficult for an SME to achieve in terms of the finances and financial implications. But with cloud computing, it is easy for them, for each of the branches and offices across various states or countries, to be able to communicate and relate and access information with ease. The improved accessibility doesn't just impact employees, clients, or customers, and it also enhances the fact that your your staff or your clients can log in and access your account or the information you want them to see, or their own business. SMEs can actually log into their own business or access any information they want to see, or their employee from any part of the world with any device as far as there is internet. So it has easy accessibility. That's one benefit of cloud computing. And number two benefit of cloud computing is the ability to get is the ability to is number two. This thing is the centralized data security. So when you use cloud computing, data backups are centralized you know, in cloud providers' data center, removing the need for individual users or teams to maintain their own backups and their on site and off site hard drives or storage devices. This lowers the risk of data loss. Should any backup fail or destroy or by a disaster, cloud provider can restore the data from another copy maintained in their cloud storage, which is continuously updated with piece, at every piece of data and with ease without stress. So there will not be data loss. There will be a centralized data security for SMEs that decide to leverage, cloud computing, which is the best advice, they can get, SMEs can get. And then number three we will be looking at is the higher performance and availability. By using cloud computing resources together simultaneously, you reap SMEs will reap greater performance gains than by having their own dedicated server or hardware in-house or in their office or in their warehouse or facility or wherever they are operating from. So cloud computing increases input and output operations by per seconds. This is you are going to simplify your whole manual procedure or processing by simplifying it into cloud computing, and it helps you to perform better. It helps your staff to be able to deliver better, and these are the kind of things that encourage remote working. An SME or an organization cannot engage in remote working without being without engaging in cloud computing and being compliant in cloud computing. So another thing I want to talk about here is the quick application deployment. Unpredictable made unpredictable business need often require cloud computing resources on short notice. And you can improve your cloud application development by quickly deploying cloud applications because they are readily available without the need to procure additional hardware or to wait for IT staff to set up your server. These cloud computing are already ready. They have been set up. They are waiting. It's just for you to be ready. When you are ready, you just subscribe or link up, and then you're on board, and then you can start working with ease. So in addition, you can choose from a broad range of services that support different types of cloud infrastructure technology. So there are different types you can actually choose from. There are so many of them. There's Amazon. Um, there's Microsoft. There are different kind of cloud. There is Cisco. There are different kinds of cloud computing platforms that SMEs can subscribe to. And then number four of it is instant business insight. So with cloud computing, cloud-based platforms provide a unique opportunity to access data as it's collected. Like somebody sends in data from one branch in Ghana and you're in Lagos and you want to access your data immediately, just in the next 1 second or 2 seconds. You can easily access that data that has been imputed in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana, while you are in Lagos in the next minute. Because why? It's cloud computerized and it's also backed up automatically and immediately. So it makes it easier for communication, for corporate communication, for business communication. So it is well advised for SMEs to leverage on cloud computing to grow their business. And then the next topic I'll be looking at, or highlights I'll be looking at, is business continuity. In the event of disaster or unforeseen circumstances, you need you need to have an effective backup plan. If not, relying on cloud computing services can benefit your organization, which is the best, instead of worrying. Because sometimes when you even have local backups in your office or in your warehouse or factory, what if there's a fire disaster? Sometimes those local backups can also be affected. But with the cloud computing, even if there's a fire disaster, no matter what happens, you are well rest assured that your data is secured and safe and reachable whenever you need it. So that's for business continuity. And then another area I want to look at is I want us to pay attention to is the price, performance, and cost savings. So yes, everybody believes that cloud computing for the start, for inception from the beginning is usually a bit kind of on the high side. Yeah. So although an initial financial investment is required to implement a cloud strategy, SMEs will save substantial amount of money in the long run because they don't have to maintain expensive hardware or local data center, and also since there are no upfront costs to use cloud-based system, businesses can test them out, before investing in them or even getting any of the choice of cloud service they prefer. Like Oracle is also there and the rest of them. And most of all these cloud computing service providers, they provide, price, performance, and flexible sizing depending on the kind of data you have, depending on you know your amount of data and everything. So this will determine the kind of pricing that will suit you. So you need to take out your time. So you can contact me later if you want to know more about cloud pricing and the rest, and then so that we can easily advise you better. So another topic I want to look at, another highlight I want to look at before we round it up is um, cloud computing, the visualized computing. So the benefit of cloud computing actually is that cloud computing is perfect for visualized computer environments because cloud resources can be allocated instantly to support significant increase in demand. So you never experience downtime again. With cloud computing, your business can expand its capability almost effortlessly, to meet the growing demands without increasing staff or capital expenditure. It's as easy as that. You don't have to start employing more hands for your business to keep expanding. But with cloud computing, it is easier and more adaptable for your business to expand and to grow without increasing in the amount of manual hours that is required. It reduces your manual hour because you're using cloud computing. So finally, on the last highlight before I round up with just a quick quote, I'll be looking at the last point, which is cloud computing and in general. So cloud computing in general is a greener technology than transitional IT solution. By moving to the cloud, businesses can reduce their energy consumption. That's one. And I can also the businesses SMEs can also reduce their carbon footprint by up to 90%. Rather than having an in-house server and software, businesses can use cloud-based services to access the same applications and data from any computer or any device with an internet connection. It's as easy as that. And this eliminates the need for businesses to purchase and maintain their own IT infrastructure. So I'll just summarize with this quick quote. If you're looking for a greener, more effective way to deliver your IT services, consider moving your business to the cloud and consider signing up to cloud computing. Thank you very much, Anita. I'll be expecting questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. And yes, we do have questions for you. And so the first question is how does cloud computing specifically benefit SMEs compared to larger enterprises?
Oh, okay. How does can you take your question again? Can you repeat your question again?
Yes. How does cloud computing specifically benefit the SMEs compared to larger enterprises?
Oh, okay. So cloud computing benefit SMEs in different ways. SMEs have most times have challenges, especially they cannot they have financial challenges, and so cloud computing helps them save money at the long run instead of like saving cost of purchasing too many hardwares, purchasing servers, and also purchasing also maybe paying more money by getting offices and physical locations with cloud computing, and then especially the metaverse that professors spoke about. It is very beneficial for them to leverage cloud computing to be able to mitigate um, their infrastructural cost or demand. So cloud computing saves money for SMEs. It helps them to be able to have a level playing background even with the multinational companies as far as they are leveraging cloud computing. I hope that's answers your question.
Yes, that's okay. So the second question is what are some common challenges that SMEs face when adopting cloud computing, and how can they overcome them?
Okay, the challenges SMEs face while adopting. Okay, well, the major challenges SMEs will face while adopting cloud computing is the initial investment capital, the startup capital to be able to sign up for these cloud computing um, services, and because most times they find the prices outrageous. But if they're able to sign up and or save or work towards it and have a proper budget to work towards it, once they're able to sign up, they find out that it is cost effective and it's going to saving them a lot of money. So it is startup, venturing capital to engage in cloud computing that SMEs will rather find more difficult because they might be making having options of considering to use such amounts, to invest in other areas of their business development or growth. But I bet you that it is more beneficial and efficient if they can sign up for cloud computing. It helps simplify their business and propels their business for growth.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. So we have one last question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
How does cloud computing facilitate collaboration and remote work for SMEs? And what tools or strategies do you recommend for maximizing these benefits?
I'm sorry, the network went off a bit. Can you repeat your question, please? The last one.
Okay. How does cloud computing facilitate collaboration and remote work for SMEs? And what tools or what strategies do you recommend for maximizing these benefits?
Oh, okay. So, like I mentioned it before while I was speaking earlier on, that cloud computing is beneficial, and then there is no organization or SME that can venture into remote working without engaging in cloud computing. So, before you think about saying that your organization has to be um, has to be maybe probably start engaging in remote working, you must first of all make sure that your cloud computing you have engaged and signed up, or you have been actively positioned with your cloud computing platforms. That way, you can be able to leverage the remote working. And then for SMEs, it's always beneficial that every SME thinks cloud computing, because that's the that's the what is in demand in this 24th century, and then it helps them to increase the amount of they spread their reach, not focus on being in one location, but they can spread their niche and be able to attain more clients, and then reach more partners and more customers in different parts of the world by engaging in cloud computing. Hope that's great. If I didn't touch any of the questions, you can just let me.
Please, sir, we can hardly hear you.
Oh, okay. You didn't get what I said.
No, we can hardly hear you.
Oh, okay. So I said there is no organization for SMEs to engage, to be able to engage in remote working. They must, make sure that they have signed up to cloud computing, and that their cloud computing platforms are properly structured to be able to service their business effectively. And it is a win-win situation for all SMEs to be able to sign up into cloud computing, because it helps their business to grow and helps their business to expand and attain global recognition and attain more clients internationally and more partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. This was profound. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So we have concluded our speech for today's webinar, and I would like to thank all our guest speakers for this amazing time. Thank you, Mr. Kingsley Amadi. Thank you, Dr. Abdul. Thank you, Mr. Saeed Talal. And thank you, Professor Ahmed Abu Farag. Thank you so much. We appreciate and we learned a lot from today's webinar.
Okay. I think Dr. Abdul has some things to say before we round up.
Yeah, thank you very much for everybody. And I think step by step we are gradually improving this window for Africa and unlocking especially when we speak about unlocking African trade. And I think when we start to have some people from the different part of the world and different area of the globe, that will help us to raise the voice and to be able to put the people on board with us and to highlight the potential resources which is available on the continent and how we can manage from their experience to activate and unlocking the African trade in general. And when I speak about the trade in general in Africa, we are speaking about all the infrastructures related to this trade, or the element and resources related to support and improve this sector. Starting from what we're speaking today about the security, how we secure our gateways, how we secure our transactions, our platforms, our backbones, if we can say it for that, and how we can benefit from the technology like the AI, which is already are invading the world in a rapid way. So to have a professor like Professor Ahmed on board with that, this is very highly and valuable things, and to benefit from his experience and experiments and knowledge and know-how in this technology, and to be able to have his thought about this and insight. I think we are moving on that directions to be able to have a fruitful, inshallah, exhibition where we are planning to have it physically soon. It will be announced where it's going to be held, because several countries are on board on us, and the discussion is moving with them to see who's going to host the first one. And from the other side also, we would welcome everyone to participate with us if they have any suggestions and any comment to share it with us to be able to improve this webinars and this series and sessions, and to be able to nominate some people who could be an added value for the people, for the humanity in general, and the economy, to be able to have or eliminate and elevate the poverty in the economy situation we have in the continent. Thank you very much, and inshallah, we're looking to see you soon within next month also, within the next seminars. And by that time, I hope you will be able to announce where we are going to have it physically, so we can be able to shake hands and physically meet each other on the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdul. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you to all our attendees. Thank you to our guest speaker. And we have come to the end of today's webinar. Have an amazing day.
Thank you,
Thank
Nathan.
you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
everyone.
You too. Thank you to everyone.
Ciao.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you very much and see you soon. Thank you.
See you, doctor. See you, Prof.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Um, I think I just have to shut it down. So, Anita, thank you. You did well. Hey.